Hi, I have just waved bye bye to Izzy for our fifth conversation. Is now done, but you still get to take it on. Today we have been speaking about being hard on yourself and not so hard on others and how you can make it shift there. So, a lot about thoughts and truth and observing yourself and how that can make a really big impact amongst the people that you meet. So, join me and Izzy for an hour 15 minutes or so when we speak about celebrations amongst other things. Enjoy. Hi.
So, hello, morning
Morning. Yeah.
on this Friday, beautiful, cold, snowy
Beautiful and cold. Yeah.
morning. Yes, snow in April. It was snowing here today and 2 days ago, but that's just, yeah, surprise,
Yep.
surprise.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you already, did someone made some jokes to you on the April's Fool's Day?
No, not specifically to me, but I got a news in one of my project meetings that I've had now where I actually had to ask, and this is not an April Fool's joke. And they say, no, it isn't. Okay. Just
Okay.
to make sure, because it was one of those, not the most fun.
Mm-hmm.
But it could have been a joke, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Yes.
you? Have you had any?
Yeah, nothing so far.
No.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit hard to catch me since few years because more aware about this day is happening.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you usually do any pranks? Do you pull any any
No,
any jokes?
no, not really, not really. I think I'm a little bit serious person, so but no, I'm aware of the day, but um, not so. I mean, I don't make so many jokes. Like I mean. I'm the sort of person no one when I really try hard to make a joke or try to make something really funny, no one really laughs, so I stop trying. Yeah. That's just basically my problem. I also have an issue with understanding others people's jokes, so
Yeah.
it's like everyone laughs, and I'm just like, what do you mean by this? I really didn't
Yeah.
get that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my whole life like this.
Yeah.
I mean, just stay on the safe side, be serious whole life, and like, yeah, that's okay.
And I mean, it's interesting because jokes are, there's both the cultural aspect to them. What works in one culture, in one
Mm,
country, might not work
precisely.
at all anywhere else. Sarcasm is definitely part of that. But
Yeah.
I think that you're also right in that there's also like personality differences or personal traits. It's like some people have a harder time getting jokes and
Oh,
some
yeah.
people are just get them. So there's some type of, I don't know, difference in how we are, how we're
Yeah.
wired somehow.
And
What enters my brain and how does it enter it? Does it come
mm,
waving a flag
yeah.
as a joke or not?
Yeah. As a warning, because, I unfortunately, I would say, or maybe it's fortunately, who knows it. I'm quite sensitive person. So sometimes if on my like worst days, if someone makes a like sarcastic comment or a joke, even not intended in a bad way, about me or things that I do, I take it a little bit too personally, and I really don't. Some people will say, "Well, it's how you are. Don't worry about this and everything." But I really would like to have much more distance to myself and to what I do, um, and to not take myself so damn seriously. because sometimes it's just annoying even for me. It stays in my head. Someone said something, and everyone already forgot about this, and
But you
the joke was
remember.
actually quite good, but in the end, it stays in my head. So yeah.
And I'm laughing because
Oh, that's fine.
I recognize that. I have been a person who took myself deadly serious, but
How
I
did you
have
change it?
shifted.
How did you do that? Please teach me.
I think it's a byproduct of me coming to the insight that I don't have to believe my thoughts. So, knowing that whatever I think, and that whatever I think isn't the only right way to think. It isn't truth. I don't have to believe this thought. I can if I want to, and I do if I want to. I do if it serves me. I do if I can see any value to it. And it sounds a lot easier than it is to do, but I've trained myself to kind of I've trained myself to shrug things off
Mm. But
much, much
how
more
do you
than I
train?
could for the 31st years of my life.
But how do you train this? Like, because it's so hard for me. I'm asking because, like, I really take things personally, which makes my life sometimes super
Hard.
duper hard.
Yeah.
Yes. And I record a lot of videos that I post in social media. It's so out of my comfort zone. It's like, me in front of the camera, so hard. And then I have some speaking engagements coming up. First time ever in my life, really. Well, no, not first time ever in my life. I had one, didn't went very well. And since then, I didn't have really any speaking engagements. Um, and, it's a bit, stressful in a way because it's like, what people will think about me? What mistakes will I do? And it starts
But
accumulating
how
in
are
my
those
head.
thoughts serving you? How are those
Yeah.
questions serving you?
Mm.
Are they serving you at all?
They are not at all. And
No.
the only way what they do, they just put me on more like
Yeah. They
negative
up the
way of,
ante.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is how I have trained myself. I have trained myself to, or I've come to Matthew pointed this out. It's like it's not really a training. It is more like coming into a relationship with myself, with different parts of
Mm,
myself that I pick up on my discomfort. I pick up on my fears. I pick
mm,
up on all of these things. So that if I were to think this, I would observe that thought. I would pick up on it. And I had a speaking engagement in October of 2021 where I really the process of it was kind of fun. I was asked a month before. I was pondering what I was supposed to say, how I could set it up. I kind of, went through a whole like creative process about that, kind of landed on what it was. Did the practice runs a few times in the mornings as I was still in bed, just kind of speaking it to
mm,
myself, and wasn't nervous until the night before. As I
yeah,
was getting into bed the night before, a little bit of butterflies. And I don't mind butterflies because butterflies, that nervous flutter could mean, oh no, that could sink me. But it can also mean, oh yes, and raise
yeah,
me. Right.
yeah.
So that's one way for me to kind of not necessarily go with the negative um justification or rationale. It's like, or it's like it's logically a negative thing to feel nervous butterflies. No.
Mm,
What if it's just me? My entire system is gearing up for this thing, right?
yeah,
So I've also learned how to like be more open to other ways of seeing it than the negative one,
yeah,
right? So I woke up in the morning, I did the thing again, fixed myself, had lunch, and then went on my bike. And then shit, it hit. Whoa.
honestly.
It's like panting. I'm biking and biking, and I'm trying to run the speech and I forget. And it's like just
Yes,
shit, I'm gonna suck. And all of that shit. So don't take me wrong that I don't experience any of this stuff because I do, right? But I came there, said hi to Caspian, he was there. I went away to a quiet corner and kind of ran it through again, and I bombed. I totally bombed. But it's like, oh, whatever, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So I get up on stage, I'm, presented,
It's-
I'm called up on stage, I start, and about a minute in,
Mm,
it just lets go.
yeah, yeah. I
Because I'm
think,
there, I can't do
yeah,
anything other than my best. And if I
yeah,
miss a sentence, if I, stumble on a word, or no, nobody's going to kill me, nobody's going to die. It won't be
yeah,
an issue.
yeah.
And that's when I start to have fun. So if I look at that recording, it's in Swedish, but I can link to it anyway. But when I look at that recording, I can spot that moment where I just go, okay, here I am,
Okay,
everything is
yeah,
chill.
yeah.
But I can also see that I'm enjoying myself up there.
Mm, mm,
Uh, but it's been a long process
yeah,
to come to this point, I would say.
yeah.
But observing myself and asking, how does this serve? I think is the way that I have come to the place where I am.
Mm, mm. Yeah, it's sometimes I find it hard to actually uh, observe those things because I mean I know what I should do. I know I shouldn't be giving attention to this more negative approach, uh, but it still goes that way, unfortunately. So, and it's funny because, well, funny. It's interesting because a few weeks ago, I think I read somewhere that we as people, naturally, we are attracted to more negative things. Like something bad, it's more attractive that yeah, attractive to us than all the good things, all the good thoughts. Like when you look to media, yes, like any issue is just bringing our attention.
Yes,
Sorry, go.
precisely. And I think that's the thing. It's like
Mm,
it is a survival mechanism that we
mm,
need to be
precisely.
much more aware of all the negative stuff that happens,
Mm,
all of the problems, all of the risks, etc.,
yes.
which is
Mm,
a good thing. Problem is, in today's society, we live lives that are quite riskless, honestly,
mm,
most of us at least,
mm,
which means that we don't really have that natural um, conduit for that. You know,
mm.
I have safe food. I have a
We
safe
just go to the shop.
house. We just go to it's like it doesn't really matter if it's raining or snowing or anything because
Yeah,
I have warmth. It's like we
yeah.
live safe lives, generally
Mm,
speaking.
mm,
So
mm.
making sure that we don't kind of fall for the biological trap that is there, because you're right, it is
Yes.
there, it is inherent
Mm,
in us.
mm,
So that is also where my ability to observe myself, to kind of step up into a meta
mhm,
me
mhm.
perspective has served me because it makes me som ett rö för vinden, you say in Swedish, which
It's
basically
beautiful,
means
really so nice.
it basically means rö. I think it's what you would call chaff. Like when you're uh harvesting like wheat and stuff, and when you're like bonking on it to make the seeds fall away.
Yeah.
When the wind comes, there's this chaff in the wind,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
That will flow away. That is the stuff that you don't really need. But they don't they don't have any agency. It's like this little piece of chaff doesn't go, "Oh, I'm going over there." It's like if the wind is going over there, you will be going over there. But if the wind is going the other direction, you're going in the other
Yeah, yeah,
direction.
yeah.
So being like that, I experience myself less of that because I have the meta perspective. So I
Mhm.
don't experience myself as helpless or agencyless or rudderless or whatever. It's like I'm not ett rö för vinden. You know, I have agency. I can
Mm.
decide. Here comes the thought, with
Yeah.
it comes the feeling, but I do have a choice.
The
Does
pa yeah.
this does this serve me or not? Do I believe this thought or not? Where does it take me? And sometimes I just go with whatever is there. Sometimes I think no, and I have the bandwidth, the resources to say, stop. And then maybe I have to distract myself.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, go put on a kettle and boil some tea or watch a funny video on YouTube. It's like sometimes I have to distract myself. Sometimes maybe what I need to do is hug myself.
Yeah.
To
Mm.
okay, let's ground myself in my body right now. Where am I? Is this true? Because a lot of the thoughts that we're thinking aren't true because they haven't
Exactly.
happened yet,
Exactly.
because they're for the future. What if?
Exactly. What if? And
Mm-hmm.
what if maybe a lot of different options happen? Like it's not necessarily precisely how we think it will happen because usually it's just we can predict the future. So we just have one thought in our head, and there's like several thoughts in our head, and then there are also things that we do not control. Like a little bit less or more luck, yes? Things aligning together or not aligning together. Yes, we can try hard, we can work smart, but there is still a little bit of luck or good or bad luck happening around. And, it's like things that we do not have influence on. Mm,
Yeah, exactly.
But I think looking to the things from more like positive perspective, or the one that's just uh, well, more pleasant to yourself, like nicer for yourself. Be nice to yourself. Yes, keep looking to the things from a more positive perspective. Helps you to shape your brain to see things in a little bit better way, and then you can find easier a solution if there is a problem, actual problem, not the problem that you imagine yourself in the head. So yeah, and I think it's interesting also that for myself, like when I'm able to forgive other people in much easier way than I'm forgiving myself. All the other flaws, I don't know why. I have no clue, no idea. Really? I've been thinking about this for so long. Like, but if someone is the way they are, yes, and they are no make some mistakes or like they are how they are, and we all have flaws, and I'm more accepting for their flaws than for my own, uh,
Mhm.
like less
I
awesome
should be
parts.
better.
Yeah, 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 all the time. It sounds like you do pretty freaking great. It's like,
Yeah.
give yourself a tap on the shoulder and keep going, you know?
I wonder, did we speak about this? I used to think about myself as a do-it-yourself renovation project where
Mm, no, I think we
I
didn't.
had just that. Oh, I should be better at this. I should not have said that. I'd better make sure that I don't ever say that again. You
Mm,
know, I need to learn this because otherwise that person won't like me. I won't get that job. It's like
mm,
constantly living in this experience where what I am isn't good enough and it needs to be replaced. I need to cut off the
yeah.
arm and put in a super bionic arm because then it will be better.
Mm,
I need to drop 10 pounds because then somebody will love me. You know, it's like whatever it is, um, that I could kind of look at myself that way. And that made me as hard on me as I
mm.
hear you saying,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I could always perceive of myself like replacing parts of me to make it better, to make me better, to make me
Mm,
more palatable somehow, more desirable, more someone that people would want to be with, etc.
mm,
And I don't remember, it's probably 10 years ago or something when somehow I saw that, and somehow I saw that this is a really weird way of looking at myself.
yeah.
And I don't know how that shift came about, but it did. And I stopped looking at myself as a do it
Mm,
yourself renovation project.
mm.
I can still have this, oh, I want to learn that thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's
but
a good
it's
thing,
not
you know? That's
Be
not
precisely, it's not because, "Oh, I'm so bad at this thing and I have to learn this thing so that somebody else will
so
like me
I'm
or
actually on the good
appreciate me."
level. Yeah.
Precisely. It's like so it's like, this is who I am. This is all of the stuff I've experienced. I carry with me all of the parts of me I carry with me, and I no longer want to replace or like, oh, I have to take away that stuff because that's the stuff that nobody wants. It's like,
Mm,
no, it's
mm,
there. How can I be with this in such a way that it serves not
yeah.
just me, but those around me? So it's and I have changed so much more after I made that shift than what
Mm,
I ever did before. And the work that goes into the change is less efforting
mm.
because it's a more organic. I'm like I can still add on new parts of me, right? I can but it's not this. I don't come from the negative, I'm not enough. I should be. What if this, that, or the other thing?
Mm,
That would be so much better. But from another kind of more possibility centered perspective, perhaps, where it's like, oh, what might be of this? And
yeah, exactly.
it's a
That's really
shift.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool to look from to look to the things from this perspective, like, oh, what it may become, you know? What will this thing be in the future? And I think that's really, really cool way of looking at it. And I'm not saying that sorry. I'm not saying that, like sitting here and it's like, shit, I'm not doing anything right. I'm like, no, 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 it's not that bad. Though I have been there, and I really try to uh, not let it go so far. But some days I'm ugh, just a little bit bumped down, and having still inside like this fear sometimes coming up, and like kind of whispering in my head and saying like, "Well, but you may not do great. They may not like what you say." It just it takes a lot of work, as you said yourself, to learn to push that way of thinking away and look to it like,
Or
what if you actually will do a cool job?
precisely, because that's
What
the
if
thing. I don't experience myself today, at least, pushing that type of thinking away
Mm,
because that's the efforting.
yeah, yeah.
Instead, it's like, okay, it's one of the juggling balls I have to juggle with, but I don't have to just juggle that one.
Mm,
So, it's there, it's in life, but there's a more organic, less uh, constrained way of being in the world. It's
mm,
like there's movement.
mm,
There's a flow that's happening on a different level.
mm.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah. Because you're right also by saying that it takes a lot of effort sometimes to, actively keep thinking that you have to push that away. So just, I guess, let it be and also look into the, well, I will sound a little bit cliche, but look into the bright side.
Mhm.
And yeah, choosing maybe sometimes this other perspective, though it also seems like a little bit active way of doing that, like trying to look to putting an effort in looking into more positive perspective. And I think it's also being comfortable with who you are, like being comfortable who you are as a person and the things that you do, and to know that, well, everything is changing. So do you, and that's okay because it may bring new things, like interesting things, like where this will end. What if I do this? Where do I end? Yes, it's I'm thinking like this with red chicks now, right now, and because um not I finished officially today. Today is the first official day of me not working full time. So
Oh,
after 11 years, thank
congratulations.
you, thank you. After a long 11 years, and like I could be going like, why even I wasted my 11 years. But no, absolutely not. I actually love that I had those 11 years. I enjoyed the job very much and I learned a lot, Um, but now it's like, first official day and I'm kind of, let's say, on my own,
Mhm.
in the way that I don't have an employer. I don't have this
Certainty.
certainty, thank you, that every month I will receive this specific amount of money. But somehow I'm not really worried that much. Some days maybe a little bit more, but like I would say 90% of the time, I'm pretty excited about what will come. And, let's see where we will end up. And if not, I will always find a job, you know? But if I don't try, I will feel very, very bad about myself. And to try, it was already like sitting in me for some years, but I feel like I didn't like, I don't know, I yet couldn't let go. And then at some point, I was like, I think it's time, like that's it. I was good 11 years of awesome experience, interesting experience. But now it's time to do something else. I mean, something else. It's not so different, but to be on your own, run your own business, and do your best. So, yeah.
And what you're speaking to is like on a longer scale um of experiencing life, which informs you and me and everybody else that, oh yeah, things shift.
Mm, mm,
Yes, I've been employed full time for 11 years. Now there's a shift. No, I'm not employed by anybody else. Now it's time for this period.
yeah,
And the same I bring down to my thoughts. Right now, I can be in a low mood. Quality of my thoughts are kind of bad. I shouldn't pay too much attention to them. I don't have to believe them to be true. But I also don't have to push them away. I don't have to make myself get into a better mood and better quality thoughts because it will come.
mm,
But right now, that's that's where I am. I'm in the low mood for now. Will it last an hour? Will it last a day? Will it last a week? I don't know. But it won't last forever.
yeah,
Just like you
precisely.
won't be employed 100% forever. No, you
Yeah,
won't, because either you will retire or do what you've done now, or you'll die.
yeah,
It
exactly.
won't be
Yeah,
forever, regardless.
yeah,
So,
precisely.
kind of seeing how, again, the movement of everything that's there, and being kind enough to me to not be mean to myself when I'm in the downs,
Yeah, yeah,
and kind to myself or cheerful when I'm in the ups. But like maybe I need to be extra kind to
yeah,
myself when I'm in the
yeah.
down, and I can be a little bit harder on myself when I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
ups, because then I have better quality thinking. Then I have the ability to actually push myself, to
Yeah,
challenge myself,
yeah.
to go at things that when I'm low, there's no way
Just
that
let it be. Yeah,
just let it be, right? So
yeah,
so that I think is also part of something that seems as if we as a society or as a culture, we've kind of forgotten. We think that whatever we feel is permanent, it's there forever. And then we don't appreciate where we are. And then we have to push ourselves to be something else, to act something differently, to look in a different way
yeah.
because I'm not good enough.
Mm,
And I would say no kids are born like that.
mm, yeah.
No kids are born thinking that they're not good enough. It just doesn't
Oh,
exist.
they are amazing. Like like I think
Yeah.
kids are like, oh, it's awesome. Let's
Yeah.
let's just do
Yeah.
things. Like there is. It seems like there is no fear in a child. Like they're not afraid to try to talk, learn to speak. It's like when you learn a new language. Child learns a language also by listening, by trying, by making mistakes. It's just when we make mistake, when we are older, when we learn something, we are so cruel to ourselves. It's like, how do you dare to make that mistake? And actually, by making mistakes, we learn new things. And this is how a child learns to do things. It's trying to stand up, it falls down. Trying to stand up, it falls down. But 150 times of trying, and then it can do two steps. And I also saw something recently that it was saying that, when you're trying to get somewhere and you setting up for yourself this like massive goal to achieve, and you're doing this huge step, it's more likely that you won't get there. But when you try to take little steps, like a child, you try first to do two steps and you fall down, yes, and then you do three steps, and step by step, slowly. A child is not going to attempt to run, I don't know, a kilometer within the first time trying to stand up. But this is what we adult people trying to trying to do. What we expect from ourselves, to be this, I don't know, unachievable, amazing human.
Yeah. And do you expect that of others, or do you only expect that of yourself?
Oh, I think I don't expect this anymore from myself. So to make it, like, I'm a little bit more aware of, well, you need to do things step by step and be proud of those small steps, because I think, what I'm guilty of is that I tend to not celebrate or not see those little achievements, and I just only like have this like massive goal in front of my eyes. And I know that it will take small steps to get there, but I don't celebrate those small steps. And I think that's a little bit of my problem. Uh, I do expect it though a lot from others. Same as I expect a lot from myself, but I'm able to forgive them more um, if they don't expect so much from themselves, you know. But also, I think aiming high, aiming to big things, it's always good, you know, because even if you don't get somewhere there, this massive, amazing goal, you will get somewhere halfway through, or 25% through. And that's cool also, because you already aimed high and, you know, you just get there like even halfway through. So I think it's great to aim high, but having the awareness of the fact that you may not get there, and that's okay too. And celebrating the smaller achievements is also something that we should be doing. And if we do celebrate the smaller achievements, the smaller steps, we will learn to enjoy the journey, the
So
road.
how can you celebrate? What does celebrate mean to you?
I guess generally noticing that this, like being happy about those small steps, those small achievements, you know, um, appreciating them more, because it's not necessarily celebration in the terms of, you know, have a cake and I don't know, champagne and throw a party. Um, but just be happy about this, appreciate that, and then, you know, try another thing. Because like also like sometimes when I'm aware of the fact that I achieved something, I kind of smile to myself and it's like, good job, well done, you know, like I'm really happy for myself that I got this little step further, or that I did something that I wasn't able to do previously. Because maybe it's not like a step further, or it's not like a goal or something, but I just did something that I wasn't doing previously, you know? And it's what what's great about Alt MBA, or what was great about Alt MBA, that I learned to be happy and celebrate the achievements that are not perfect. Because I'm not a horrible perfectionist, and I was, at least in the past. Now, much less,
Thank
much
you.
less.
Thank you. Good.
Yeah, yeah. And so I learned to, you know, no, it's not perfect. Yeah, sure, but I did it. It's like, you know, like, sometimes I think like some other people may not be even doing that. So I think sometimes it's bad to compare yourself with other people. Just, you know, be yourself, and, you know. But I think it's for my brain, it's kind of sometimes easier to accept it if I compare myself. So I try to really move away from that way of looking to myself. Mm.
So, what would make you become a better celebrator? Because you said that I don't celebrate enough, or I'm bad at
Well,
celebrating.
I
Is
think
that
just
true?
noticing more of those
So, how do you
smaller
do
wins.
that? How do you help yourself notice?
Mm.
What's the thing that will make the difference?
You know, like, maybe a practical way would be to, you know, like note for yourself those small steps, yes? Write it down. But I find it hard to do that, to be honest.
Okay.
You know, I did attempt the like, you know, every
Gratitude
evening,
journal and
yeah,
stuff.
journaling,
Yeah.
journaling
Yeah.
and everything. That doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't work for me. Like, I cannot sit down my butt and just like take a notebook, just be with my thoughts and write them down. I was able to do it the longest, I think, 5 days, and then I just got bored with that.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'm just doing something wrong with this. I tried different forms of journaling because I really wanted to make it happen. I bought like a really cool notebook where I could do it. It's like it would be only my notebook for journaling, yes, happen only for 5 days and that's it. Uh, so I don't know, but as I'm saying, maybe I'm doing something wrong with journaling, and I know it helped so many people. I was like,
But
so much. It's like, oh.
yeah, but I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing that instead of them thinking, oh, there's something wrong with me because journaling doesn't work for me, it's, oh, journaling doesn't work for me. What else can I try?
Yeah, yeah. So
You
what
know?
it's like I was like, it doesn't. So, okay, because it's like I see everywhere people are journaling. It helps them. So I was like, okay, is it this that's not something that works for you? But sometimes I do like short meditation for myself. It's like breathing exercises more of than meditation by itself. But I think it helps me then to think about the steps that I achieved, and it instantly puts me in a better, uh, more positive way of thinking, in a better mood, because I do it in the morning. When I wake up, I just, shower, brush my teeth. And then I do this 5-10 minutes of, let's call it meditation. Um, and then I say to myself the things that I achieved and I'm happy about, that I'm proud of, And when it's like I'm saying like a mantra to myself, which is different each time because it depends on the things that has happened the day before or week before. But I'm saying to myself that I'm grateful for those things and it helps me to appreciate. But there are days when I don't do it, or weeks when I don't do it. And I can feel the difference. I can feel the difference when I don't talk to myself. I sound really crazy right now, but when I don't talk to myself in a positive way, if I don't uh, appreciate to myself the things that I achieved, I feel much um, I don't feel so positive
Mm.
as I would when I do it. So I think that's one the way I when it comes to like a physical celebration, like buying a cake, having a wine or something, I do it too. I do it too. And we actually with my partner we set up for ourselves weekly dates. It doesn't mean that we have to go out somewhere, but we do things that we like to do together. And some of those things are done because we celebrate something, and those are the small things. And some days it's because we have a date and let's do it. Let's enjoy our time together. Let's not talk about business. Let's let's not talk about I don't know work stuff, but just let's focus on ourselves. And but again, we started with that, with this, with doing this. I think 2 months ago or a month ago, something like this. So, but it's cool. It's helping. We know that we have this one day in the week that it's for us, just so we can enjoy our time. And if we want, we can celebrate some other things that happen in the week or so. So, yes, slowly, introducing things. But
Mhm.
there are days that, sometimes you feel more down
Shit.
than all
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
But how is
But
it for how I wanted to ask you how you celebrate the things,
so it's I'm not much for the big flat. I don't drink. I don't really appreciate champagne. I'm not much of a party goer or party thrower either. So I think it is the small things. But I do my meta me, that little observer of me, is active. She's on. She's always on. And I have a good relationship with my meta me. And she tells me, when I've done something good, when there's, been a little bit of, okay, baby step. It's moving ahead, etc. So I think that mostly it is this inner dialogue, this
Mm.
cheering me on inner dialogue that is my way of doing it. Then I've become better at really enjoying the little things. And it is my meta me that helps me with that too. It's like, it's sunny. I want to go
Yes.
outside and I let myself. I do that and I enjoy it thoroughly. I come across a little beautiful butterfly or a flower or something and I notice it. I pick up on it. So the the gratitude, my experience of being grateful for everything that is, for the beauty that's around me, I think has also kind of risen over the years that
Yeah, yeah.
I'm much more with it.
Mm.
Um and and I have, and this is me sounding crazy. I say that I do good shit. Not just to me, but to others in project meetings with, I say, hey, that was really good of me. And I say, I really enjoy what you did there. That was a brilliant
Yes.
thing, right? So it's not, many people can say that to others, but they don't
Yes,
say
that's
it to
true.
themselves. But I
It,
say it to myself. So I can laud myself.
yeah.
Um, I held a hygienic design workshop 2 weeks ago for a machine engineering company. And fuck, I did awesome. You know,
Yeah.
I'm really good at doing workshops like that.
Mm.
I ace at them. I get it to be interesting. I make people think and engage and I rock and I feel very comfortable doing it. And I can say that question, I don't know the answer to it, but if I had to try, this is what I would try.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I don't know how many people I've said that to in the last two
But that's
weeks. It's
really
like, I
cool.
did great. I made
Mm.
hygienic design fun. And people
Yeah,
go, that's not possible. I'm like, well, no, you're right. It's not really possible, but I made it as fun as it can be. Because
yeah.
I really do. So,
Mm.
not, and I don't think this is something that I've carried with me for more than a couple of years.
No, but that's really, really awesome. And I think that's like we should do it much more. Like, yes, we do appreciate, and it's quite, I think, for me at least, it's easier to appreciate other people saying, like, you did an awesome job there. I do see them, yes, and I see the good things they do, but I do sometimes say to myself, well, that was an awesome job, Izzy. You did great here. But not enough, definitely, and not in front of other people. I will say, like, near my partner, I will say that. But I won't say that in front of people I don't know, a bigger group or something. But that's really, really awesome.
Mm.
I'm taking that
Yeah,
from
do
today
try it.
on, 1st of
Yeah,
April.
precisely.
Off we
Try
go.
it and precisely. Try it and see because it is, again, it's this how I look at myself. If I make myself small,
Mm, yeah.
I am sending the energy to you that, oh, you'd better make yourself small too.
Mm, mm.
If I make myself big and not
Not in a
big,
pompous.
egotistical,
Yeah.
not that stuff. It's just that
No.
if I make myself into a mensch, a
Yeah.
real human being that lives and experiences and appreciates and loves and really dislikes, if I open up in that way, then I give you the room to do the same.
That's true.
Oh, if she can
That's
do that,
true.
I could do that. What could happen then? Right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
our energy is contagious.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
what am I
that's totally true,
sending out into the
Helena.
world?
Yeah. The energy that we put out, it's like it's contagious, like a flu, like
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah,
Sorry, I had to say
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Um, but and we don't do enough of that. And if you, as you say, if you do it in a not like egotistic way, that is so amazing, and no one is as amazing as you. If you don't do it like this, but you do it in an honest, genuine way, people will enjoy that. People will love it to the point that they're like, I should look to myself in a little bit positive way. And I think when you do that, when you appreciate yourself, it will be also easier for others, for you to appreciate other people.
yeah.
Because it's just that shift. But you also said, sorry, just one little thing.
Oh,
You also said about the little things, and it reminds me that I actually do enjoy the little things more than I was enjoying them, I don't know, a year ago. I do enjoy them much more. I do like to wake up when it's sunny. I like to have my morning coffee. I like to go for a walk outside, it's like when it's sunny or even when it's cold. Yeah. Like
mhm,
I like
yeah,
fresh air. Yeah. So yeah, I do appreciate those little things also. And I do say them to myself in this gratitude morning way of meditating.
mm,
I do say to myself those
mm.
things.
And it's a good thing. I was just going to add on that part of part of me not making myself smaller, but making myself be who I am fully also has me say, holy crap, I screwed up.
Yeah. Yes.
Not just fuck, I was great, you know? So I can say that I can say those things too, which again makes me a fuller
Mm,
person. It makes me a
mm,
wholer, a
yes.
rounder person where I'm allowing me and others to be what they are as they are. And at the same time, there's a difference between when I'm in a professional setting and a private setting, where if I'm in a professional setting, I also have my met and be kind of anchor me to the purpose of that professional setting. I strive my best to be me in professional settings, and if I can't execute, then I have to take the responsibility and say, this is not
Mm-hmm.
for me. Not today or not ever. It's like I can do this, but not right now because I'm not in that frame of
Yes.
mind.
Yeah.
Or you need to find somebody else who can do that because that's not something that I will do a good job at.
Yeah.
So it's like being all of me, this rounded person somehow, is also a way of taking responsibility
Mm-hmm.
um, for me and the context that I'm in a way that for me is very freeing
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
because I can then say, sorry, but I can't do that. I have to,
Yeah, you know
this
yourself.
afternoon, I'm writing, uh, I have a possible assignment where I'm starting to think, I'm not sure there's much that I can do here,
Mm.
you know? And I know in this little area I can do much, but this,
Mhm.
that's not where I know stuff. I can't help you
Yeah.
answer. I can help you ask question.
And I think that's a huge help.
It can be a huge help, but and I think they might be of need of that too, but I need to make sure that they understand that I'm not the one who can provide the answers because I don't know the answers to
But
those.
perhaps you can help them to find someone who can provide them with the answers. And
Yeah.
I think teaching it's again the thing. Um, Teach them to fish, don't give them the fish. It's like by asking questions, good questions, and by knowing that have to ask questions,
Mm,
they may learn more than by someone providing them an answer.
yeah. But
Because
it is also a process where somebody will need to provide answers
mm,
to this stuff. But I don't think I'm it for
mm,
90% of
mm,
that
mm,
stuff. This 10%, that I can do. Here I can
yeah, yeah,
both ask you questions and help you answer them.
mm,
Over here, I can possibly ask questions. And there's a few areas where that's so way out of my,
yeah,
my experience that I don't have a lot to bring to the table there. And
mm,
just owning that
yes, yeah,
also for me is a way for me to like show up big
mm-hmm,
rather
mm-hmm,
than try to be something that I'm
yeah,
not.
yeah. You're aware of who you are and you know yourself very well. And that comes with a lot of practice of trying to understand yourself, your boundaries, the things that you enjoy and you don't enjoy, and don't force yourself to enjoy things that or to do things that you don't enjoy. But it comes with practice. It just doesn't happen from one day to another one. It's just sometimes we just have to close all the social media, put the phone away, and just think for a moment what we do, like who the things that we do, who is it serving for? You know, like is it helping me? Is it helping someone else or the closest people that are around me? Does it make sense to keep on running every day, not catching the breath and earning, I don't know what millions in having so how much money in your pocket. But what about the people around you? What about yourself? Yeah, like, are you like physically and mentally healthy? Like, do you have time to catch a breath and give some more deeper thoughts to the things that are happening around you and things that are happening inside of you? And I think the conversations that we had were moments of this kind of catching breath and thinking on about the things around us, about ourselves. Because I don't like it's great to focus on yourself, on this what you need and what you want to achieve as a person, who you are as a person. It's necessary, and you need to be focused on yourself. And as you said, like the more you understand yourself, the more you're accepting yourself, you will be spreading this more open-minded positive energy. It will be contagious to other people. Yes, they will pick on this. But sometimes you also have to focus on others, other people who are around you, to not be just selfish, self-centric person. No, it's not what I strive for or not what I aim for. But I'm aware of the fact that everything starts from ourselves, and we need to, if we really are not in the right state of mind, we won't do any good by like taking care about everyone else around us, but we forget about ourselves. So it's a balance. It's basically balance, because it's easy to be selfish, egocentric person, but it's a little bit more difficult to focusing on yourself, but also spreading like a positive energy around and impacting with this energy other people. Yeah.
Yeah, and that meta me perspective of the observer helps there
Mm,
because my meta me doesn't just observe me, it also observes the people around me. It observes the situation at hand. So it also helps me see. how the energy, the words, the questions that I put out there, how it lands, where does it feel like, ooh, this one, this one,
Mhm.
really, this
Mhm.
one is starting to sprout already. It's
Mhm.
a seed and wow, it already sprouted. Whereas over there, they don't want that seed at all. It's like, okay, sometimes there's a message to be delivered, but how can I deliver it in such a way that the message will actually be received? Because
Mhm.
that's a difference
Yeah.
too. And that's
Yes.
also, I think that is valid also to think about when you think about yourself and how you interact with yourself. It's
Yeah.
like, if I'm hard on myself, how prone am I to actually take the advice of that thing?
Yeah.
Or if I'm like, if I am a cheerleader for myself, okay, maybe it is easier to start to, get better health or to eat, you know, to make wiser food choices in the store or whatever it is. It's like, oh, you shouldn't. Or, hey, have you tried this?
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Um, so
It's all
self
about balance.
awareness is an interesting
Mhm.
aspect. And I think for me, it is interesting in relation. It isn't me as a single unit in isolation.
Mhm.
It is me as a single unit in community, in relation. How
Yes.
does this work? And also then understanding, huh, here I am in a situation, in a setting, in relation with people where it's not. This is
Mhm.
not the place for me. It doesn't mean
Mhm.
I'm wrong. It doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means, okay, we don't fit.
Yeah.
We're not a match.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. I can leave and find
Precisely.
another situation where, oh, all of a sudden there's this,
Yes.
wild growth
Yeah.
spurt
Mhm.
of creativity or energy or feeling or whatever it is. So being again, dancing with it, dancing with life, dancing with me, dancing with you, dancing with the
Yeah.
people in the project that I was in before we start. It's like it's a dance. Now and
Yeah.
again, it's a slow dance. Now and again, whoa, we're sweating like crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now and again, it's dance to a music that I don't really know how to dance to this stuff.
Yeah.
Now and again, it's a dance I've done every day for 50 years and I love it.
Precisely.
It
Precisely.
shifts. It
That
shifts.
that sums up greatly all the conversations that we had because we talked about this energy between people, about understanding yourself, and about dance, that life being a dance, and and as you say, sometimes it's slower, sometimes it's quicker, and sometimes we don't know what are the steps and how to do it, and you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
And sometimes you need to stand to the side and say, no, I'm standing
yeah,
this one out
precisely.
because I need to rest.
But it's just about knowing yourself, knowing
Yeah.
what you want
Yeah.
to do and what you can do. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, even if you can do something, you may choose to not do it, don't feel like doing it, and that's it. And that's perfectly fine too.
Yeah. It is. Can you
Mm.
believe that this is our fifth conversation,
No.
Izzy?
No, I
Yeah.
cannot. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's,
definitely, when you come to Amsterdam, just let me know.
I will for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. And I'm
Um,
looking
for
forward to
sure.
the bigger group conversation also.
Yeah.
That will be fun, I think.
Yeah. I look forward to it too. We
Mm,
had the first one a couple of weeks ago and
how did it go?
ah, amazing. It is such
Awesome.
a treat to, because again, I get 5 times 5. I get 25 conversations,
Yes.
in depth, long, meandering. And you get 1 times 5. But it is so thrilling to hear the impact it has, what is made possible by something like that, connections,
Mm,
insights. It it thrills me no end, and I'm really, really happy to be having the final group conversation
mm.
too. Um,
And if you don't mind me asking, why 5 conversations? Like, why did you decided to go with this amount of calls or conversations with people? Why, let's say, not one, or why not 3 conversations? Why five?
so 5 by 5, I think it might have been 6 by 6 or so, but it's definitely not a one-off,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the thing that I when I listen to normal podcasts where there's a guest and you get to hang with them for an hour or two, or maybe three if it's a
Mm-hmm.
Tim Ferriss guest, but then I don't, then then they're let go. I don't get to hear more of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I am providing myself, I'm providing the world and myself with what I myself want, which is
Mm-hmm.
I want to tag along on the journey. I want to tag along on Izzy's journey for 6 months and see
Mm-hmm.
what happens. Where does she go? What comes up in the conversations? Because often it is kind of where I'm at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it just it just worked. It just
Yeah.
turned into, I had 5 people that I wanted to have the first season with, so then it turned into 5 by 5.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
It's really cool. Really cool.
I'm just finishing up, sort of populating season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I have one more person to get on board, and it's like the same thing as when season 1 was rounding off. It's like, I don't know how I cannot have a monthly conversation with you and Rady and Steve and all of the others, but at the same time, oh, I'm so looking forward to having conversation with
Yeah.
this, that, and the other person that are coming in the next season. So
Yes.
I don't know how to stop having this type of conversations.
But it's cool, isn't it?
This
It's
feels like the stuff, part of the stuff that I can't not do.
yeah, yeah. When I was starting doing the podcast, I was like, I don't know how will I do that. I'm not used to my voice. I just don't I don't have experience with that. And I was like, well, let's try. And it kind of became addictive to have good conversations. You know, I really like talking to different people on what we talk about intimacy, sex, and all around. But I just enjoy it so much. And it's also the way how I design it, it's just to try to discover who are those people with whom I'm talking with. Like, I have a, how do you say, the word run away out of my head. Um, well, it's a gift for me, that a privilege that I'm able to speak with these people, that they said yes to be a guest on my podcast, and I enjoy it so much. Like sometimes, like I really, when you have one time, let's say 2 hour or 1.5 hour conversation, at some point you see the shift in the energy of the person. Like, see, in the end, they are like, okay, that's really, we discussed a lot. And yeah, but I do enjoy it very much. And I hope to be doing this for a long, long time. Like I don't have any like money from doing the podcast, yes, but I still very much enjoy doing it. And I'm really careful how I selected the people with whom I'm talking, who are the guests and everything. But I just love it. It's addictive.
Yeah, it is addictive in the best of ways.
Mm,
And I
yeah,
mean, it's
precisely.
the same thing for me. It's like doing this pod is so far, it's a negative impact on the bottom line for sure. It costs me money to do this,
Mm,
but what I gain is worth more
yeah,
than the monetary cost of it.
mm, precisely.
And the time I spend, the relationships that I feel that I'm investing in, and the thrill of being like allowed to share the wisdom of people like
Hmm.
you and Andy and Matthew and Inman and Steve and Reddy and everybody else from season one. It's just it's like you say, that's a privilege in and of itself. It's like, wow, it makes me so
Yeah,
happy to know that okay, somebody else could hear this and go, huh, maybe I can try doing a gratitude
yeah,
journal, even though it didn't work for Izzy.
it's
Maybe
crazy.
it will work for me, and something will shift. So I do agree with you. It is conversations. I haven't been aware of the importance of conversations longer than maybe. Well, it has been a couple of years.
Mhm,
Um, I've always had really wonderful conversations with my friend Dominic, and we
mm,
did talk about we should record these. And we did record a few, and that was like 5, 6 years ago or something, but we
mm.
never actually did anything with them. So I'm happy that with Caspian's help, I am doing something with these because he helps me do the boring stuff, the
The
stuff that I
technical,
don't want to
yeah.
do. He'll do that. And then I get to do this,
Mm,
have the conversations,
yeah,
which I really, really enjoy.
mm,
And they are impactful to me, really
yeah,
impactful.
yeah. The deep and honest conversation. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
precisely.
thank you, Izzy, for joining me for
Thank you for
season
having me.
2. And I'll see you on Sunday. And
I see you on
then the people who
Sunday.
listen to this will also be able to hear you one more time in the second group convo that
Yes.
will come.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to the group conversation very much. I'm really I'm curious how it will go, and thank you very much for having me. I
You're
did enjoy every single one.
excellent. Well, you make a good April Fool's Day.
Oh yeah. Enjoy your day. Ciao ciao.
Bye.